Hi folks, another video here on Nick's Vision to Hear. Always great to talk to you and bring you some informative information. Hopefully this one does the same. If you'd like to see more content, feel free to subscribe to our channel and drop a like as well down the bottom. Certainly great to always get acknowledgement from all of you about the content that I provide. Today we're going to talk about something that I'm involved in at the moment, which is a fantastic opportunity, but it also brings some barriers up that people haven't seen me for a very long time. I'm organising a school reunion. Now, this is where people knew I had disabilities, they knew that, but they don't know the extent of them now. So this is where telling them without being over the top about it is always a little bit of a trick. They knew me when I was a teenager, so there will be things. They knew I had an eyesight problem. The hearing problem came later in life for me, so they'll not know about that. So that's where that's going to be a very interesting experience. We've already had one planning meeting, and I had to explain to them that I'm hearing impaired and have to try and explain that to them. That's fine, they understand, and they're quite happy to help, which is good. So this raises a point. If you're going to something like a school reunion or a get-together of some kind where you haven't met people for a very, very long time, how do you handle this? Well, they know if it's a school reunion, and if you've had a disability all your life, they'll know that there's something, not necessarily not right, but they know that there's something wrong with you. Now, to the extent of what it is today, varies on the time of the period you've not seen these people. So that's what I'm talking about today, is about telling them what the state of play is for you today. Now, usually with a reunion and getting together with people, they're talking about the time from when you last seen them to now. So you can factor that into your story of your life and your journey. So it's not looking obvious that you're simply just telling them you've got a severe disability these days. You can make it part of your story. So it basically is more of a networking tool than being something that's a bit intrusive. So that's how I got around it, was simply make it part of the conversation, and we understood and that sort of thing. So it's a bit of a conversation starter if you're having a reunion or you're getting together with friends you haven't seen for many years. It's obviously a very important thing to do. Now, how do you handle this in a big group situation? Now, this is where it gets interesting. I've talked in previous videos about groups. This is not going to be a sit at the table affair. This is going to be standing in circles. Now, I have trouble hearing people slightly to my right, okay? So what I've got to try and do is work out, move the situation to obviously diffuse the problem that I can't hear someone. You don't want to be standing there nodding and not knowing what they're saying. It's actually quite antisocial. But in some cases, that may be a situation that I may have to get around in some way, shape or form. So big groups are always going to be an issue, particularly in a circle where there's a circle of people. This happens a lot in Australia. We have a lot of get-togethers where people stand in circles, have a beer and a bit of a chat or a glass of wine and a chat. We're very much that sort of social scene culture. And so that in itself is going to be very interesting for me when we do have the reunion. Now, of course, we're going to have a school tour. So that's going to be where the school obviously will have a guide that will be running around telling us where things are now. The school is very different to what many are, in fact, different to what they were when we were young. So a little bit different. I do have an advantage in knowing the school layout. My children go to the particular school. So staking it out for my vision is not an issue because I already know the layout of the school. So I've got an advantage in that way. The others that are going to the reunion don't know all this. They may have had kids there, some of them did, but many probably haven't been there for many, many years. So that's just a bit of a tip for you today. If you're in a social setting where you're going to see people you haven't seen for years, mention about your disability as part of the conversation is actually probably a best way to deal with it. try and make sure that you can actually make them aware of that. So anyway, that's just a quick little video today. Hopefully you got something out of it. If you did, drop us a like down the bottom, and also subscribe to the channel and pick the all button to make sure that every time I get a bright idea for a video, you'll be the first to know about it. Catch you next time on Nick's Vision to Hear.